All right, Bitcoin Tuesday, $89,000 US. We're looking at some pretty big potentials happening here. So let's look at the facts in the charts and note our levels here, right? We have our green zone, which we're obviously great. Like look at these two candles, right? We have the Gaussian channel on. That's why these are a little different. We've closed actual candle bullish green for the first time since February. February is the last time we had neon green candles like this on the Gaussian. That's a pretty big anomaly. We're now trying to break through this zone, which would be our range highs. And as we zoom out to the 3-day, we'll see bigger implications. But if we pause here, which would be normal, if we see this might end up being a wick and we go back down somewhere between the median Gaussian channel, 86K, and this kind of our breakout zone, right? We see our big move off the lows, consolidation sideways, and then another, stair step up. Ideally, we'd like to hold this green zone as support. If we go up, to low 90s and come back here, this would be ideal. But just be prepared. If we pause here and go back down, we got to hold here to keep our bullish momentum still intact. If we close under there, right, you have your yellow 21 EMA, which was support on the low wick, support. You got to be watching that. And then if we start to close out and take out these lows, probably going to try to just put in a higher low, somewhere in the high 70s, 80, low 80s, right? Something like that. But we can get to that, right? We do these everyday updates. Our next target, our real high time frame target is, mid to low 90s. If you zoom out here, you got all these low wicks. This is kind of our next major zone. You have our top back here from early March, 94. Top of the Gaussian channel as of right now is just shy of 92K. So on the daily chart, everything looks like textbook perfect stair-stepping up, right? Big move off the lows, consolidation, sideways right at 200 EMA, another big move up. And the signs that you want to be watching and paying attention to are the anomalies, right? Things that aren't normal or haven't happened in a long time, like first bullish neon green candle on a Gaussian channel daily chart since February. That's pretty big. We're looking to do back to back. That would be huge. Then once we get that, right, we noticed like we're starting to cross the EMA 8 over the 21, last week when we talked, right? That was quickly faded last time within a day or two. This time, not so much. And not only that, but we're accelerating this trend up to more bullish. So to get an even more bullish picture here, right, our green zone, to confirm a double bottom, we technically did it with this last candle yesterday when we closed. It was slightly higher. We closed at 87,516. This last close was at 87,392. Technically, it's a higher high. So that would confirm this as a double bottom. But I like decisive closes. So I'd like to wait until we get this one. What's the hesitation on me is this median Gaussian channel right here. Let's see where that's at. Get an exact number. It's 89,674. If we can close, we don't have to close above it, but just somewhere north with decisiveness above this candle would give me a lot more confidence that the lows would be in. Not that we can't go back down to low 80s or even test this 100 EMA down here again on this 3-day chart, which would be the 300-day, right? You got it, math. We could even do that, but the bottom, the lowest closes would likely be in for, I would say, the rest of the cycle, right? If we go back down lower than that, we're in a bear market, right? If this confirms, in the next 2 days, 11 hours, and it's technically has, right? Already has, but I would just like to see it happen a little bit more bigly. So anytime, even if it closes here, right? I'm good. 89.2 now. So don't fade the bulls here, right? There's a lot of big things happening. Oh, not only that, I want to show you something else check this out. Speaking of anomalies, this is even bigger. Look at this MFI. The highest since November. That's not to be faded, right? This confirms that this is a, by all technicalities of what this implicates, that this is real, backed with volume, right? This is like the RSI, but with volume calculated in. The highest since November, when prices were doing very well. So don't fade that. All the bears are thinking this is going to reverse soon and go back to, you know, whatever K their group says. But, you know, we've been just watch for the facts in the charts here, folks. Like the MFI, the highest since November, our first bullish candle by definition on the daily chart since February. Higher time frames, still a little suspect, like the 3-day. We're close, but you can see how that median line held support back here. Flip to resistance here, loosely, and maybe resistance again. Now, if we break through that and close above there, that's another big win, but still, we have big hurdles to overcome here, right? The bulls have a lot of work to do because they just kind of gave up back here. So I would put this as another kind of bigger zone from like 92 to 94, right? We've talked about this plenty. If this overcomes, right, then, you know, we're really moving now. But then we have to take out this high. And then if we do that, right, we're back to 100K. So we still have a lot of work to do, but we have pretty much clear and decisive levels across, you know, many time frames here. All right, so now let's go out to, let's say, the weekly. We could check on the 5-day Gaussian channel just to see where it's at. Went right down to the low wick of the median Gaussian on the 5-day. Coming back out, potentially closing in 3 days, back above the Gaussian channel. Just like we did back here on our last dip. I mean, what's different? We went down here, closed, bounced off the median Gaussian channel, went back up, closed above it. That was it. Started holding the 21 as support. Massive move coming in weeks ahead. A little smaller version, right? Quicker, right? Quicker than this. That's what we're thinking. Been saying that for weeks and months. Could happen much quicker than we did back here. And it's looking exactly like that, like a mini fractal of this. Consolidate, move down, 30% move down, back to the median Gaussian channel on the 5-day, bounce back up, right to the upper channel, close outside of it, right? We're looking for a rhyme with this. Not always repeat, but rhyme, right? We want to hold that after we get above it. Not that we can't come back in, but a couple weeks up here, even if we go up here to low 90s, great. We can come back down. But the lows we're in, right? The lows need to be in here at the median. Okay, let's go out to the weekly. If we can close back above the 21 week this week, that would be a huge win. It's not even that much to ask for. It's 86, whatever the hell's behind my cursor there. 86, there we go, 850. That would seem almost bearish at this point, but it wouldn't be, right? Anything above the 21 EMA after doing this kind of move, and also noting we held the 50 EMA back here. Look where we held back here, the green line. 50 EMA, held the 50 EMA just above the weekly Gaussian channel, just above the weekly Gaussian channel. Put it on closing prices. It looks like pretty much a rhyme to me, but this is such major support here, and we held this for months, that the underside retest has always been inevitable. We've been talking about this for months since we've been down here, that zone was so important that we're going to backtest that. Even if we're in a bear market and you're in the ultimate bearish mode, you're convinced it's over, right? We're going to still backtest this. Now, it could be with the wick, and it could be around 90K, or it could go all the way back up here. But this is where the true test is for the bulls and the bears. We don't know yet. Is this a fake out by the bears and gotcha? Or was this the fake out by the bulls and gotcha? And we're actually getting ready to go back to new all-time highs here shortly. But the big pivot and likely hesitation for a couple of weeks. Now it'd be great if we could just get up to like mid to low 90s and just hang out and not come back down. That would likely see a massive move like this, right? If we could do this kind of move, right? You come up here and just hang around for a couple of weeks, little volatility, right? Look at those wicks. I mean, just think of this volatility on these wicks. There's 13% for Bitcoin price volatility over just 2 weeks after seeing a 10% bullish candle here. And maybe imagine we get that. It's already 5% this week, already 5%, right? What does 10% get us? You guessed it, right at that line, like mid to low 90s. 10%. If you want to rhyme with that, let's keep rhyming. Come up here, little volatility around it for a couple weeks, and then massive breakthrough again. Easily could happen. But what you want to watch for is holding the 21 as support and not closing back below it once we do close above it. We haven't even closed above it for 1 week yet. So a little bit more patience, but I think we can be more patient if things are looking more bullish, right? I think I'm in that boat. It's hard to be patient when you're down day over day over day over day, right? So we're flipping around. We're now almost 20% off the lows. Bears are hating it. But just look at the charts. Nothing has changed on the macro. Like nothing's abnormal. On the monthly, which we've looked at many times, nothing is abnormal. We have not closed below the EMA 8. If you're going to go in a bear market, you got to close below the EMA 8 first. Don't we all agree with that? Don't you have to close below the EMA 8 if you're going to go to, $0, right? There's a close below the EMA 8. Whoa. Back last cycle in 2021, there's a close below the EMA 8. Whoa. All right. And then you close below the 21, you're game over. On the monthly chart, that's game over. That would mean we would have to go to sub 68K to be in a bear market by my definition. And technically, right, you take out that previous high, a lot would go wrong, right? If we're at 67K, okay, we're probably in a bear market. But you got to close below the EMA 8 first. Hello. All right, so just have some more patience. Not sure where the 53K mark came in, but we'll remove that. We don't need to be thinking about that. Okay, so that's the macro, the micro, the Tuesday, April 22nd. Next real like kind of macro target is like kind of 93. The previous low close, 93.5. The high wick we've gotten, 95K. Close above 93.5 this month, and we only have 8 days left in the month. If we close above 93.5, I would expect skyrockets, something like this in May. A May candle, I would predict something 20, 30%, maybe more, if we close this month above 93.5. You heard it here first. All right.